So today we're going to be looking at the Feiyutech AK2000s gimbal. They sent me out this gimbal to do a review on, didn't pay me for it, and all the opinions are my own. They don't even have to see this video before I release it. Overall, it's a pretty solid gimbal, but there are a couple things that are a little iffy about it, and you can tell that it's not on the level of some of the other bigger name brands out there when it comes to gimbals, but it does its job and it does it pretty good. So let's start with the positives of this gimbal. First of all, it's got a very nice build quality. You can see that the gimbal itself is made out of a very nice metal. It has a nice feel to it. It's very smooth and nice to the touch. And then on the handle, you've got some wood, which gives it a really nice feel to the grip. And then underneath that, you have the tripod / grip that you can screw in or take out. And that just helps when you're trying to get a nice solid grip. You can use both your hands, kind of smooth everything out a little bit more. Then there's also the attachable sling grip, which you can just screw onto the gimbal. This lets you go from a normal shooting style to underslung mode pretty quickly. All you have to do is swing your arm down, the gimbal swings right down, you can pick it right back up. It's very easy to use, it's very fun, and it's designed quite well. What I do really appreciate is this gimbal has locking mechanisms on each axis, which makes transporting it very, very easy. All you have to do is click the lock, and then it's not going to wiggle around in your backpack or in your suitcase or wherever you're putting it. It does come with its own quick release mounting plate. This makes mounting your camera very easy. All you have to do is screw the plate onto your camera, and then you just slot it in and tighten up the side, and then you're good to go. This also makes taking your camera off and putting it back on the gimbal very easy because you don't have to go and fiddle with rebalancing it or anything like that. You just slide it back in and you're good to go. It is compatible with their follow focus system, but they didn't send me one for this gimbal. They did send me one for the AK4500, and I used it on this one with no issues. In order to use the follow focus, you just screw it in front of the base plate and then you attach it to the gimbal with little cable, and then you use the wheel on the gimbal to control focus on your camera. It's pretty easy, very simple to set up, and it works really well. They do say that this camera can carry a pretty heavy weight for its size. I did use the GH5 with the Sigma 18-35 on there. However, that's really pushing it just because it's not a very big gimbal. It's hard to move your camera around and get a good balance going. I did have much more luck with my Leica R lenses. The Leica R35 worked perfectly, and the 19mm. They work really well on this gimbal and lend themselves really well to gimbal use anyways. So if you're looking to run a bigger setup, I would definitely move up to a bigger gimbal, and you'll find yourself having a lot less headaches with that. Another positive is updating this gimbal and controlling it and tweaking all your settings. They have an app that actually works really well. You can update the gimbal without using any cables, just straight through the Bluetooth on the app. It's super simple, super easy to use, and it's probably one of the better apps that I've used for a gimbal in a while. Although I haven't used any of the other companies since they've updated their apps and everything. This one is very solid and works extremely well. All right, now onto the stuff that's not so good. The motors are okay. I feel like they kind of die out pretty quickly. You have to keep the gimbal charged to the tip top, otherwise the motors aren't that great. They get a little weak as the battery goes down, and then it has a hard time keeping everything smooth. Also, it's very difficult to get a very nice and steady, smooth setup. It takes a lot of tweaking and like fiddling with all the settings in the app. I did manage to get something that I liked, but it took a long time to get there. And even then, watching some of the footage, it's still pretty shaky. So if you want to combat that, just throw some warp stabilizer on in post, and it should take out most of those shakes. Although the bigger ones, it probably will just screw around with your footage. Part of it is you also have to be very, very, very smooth while you're walking. Some gimbals, you don't have to be as smooth just because they have better algorithms for their motors. This gimbal, you have to be incredibly smooth. Otherwise, sometimes it'll pick up those shakes and you can't really get them out of your footage. It's a little difficult to use post to warp stabilize. Other than that, there's not much to complain about. For what you're paying for the gimbal, it's an amazing quality product. The build quality is superb, and the company is very quick to respond if you have any questions or need help with anything. I've left links down below in the description if you want to go buy this gimbal. Those are affiliate links, and they will provide a little kickback to me, which helps this channel out. So if you are looking to get a gimbal, there's some links for you. That pretty much wraps it up for this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Let me know what your favorite gimbals are down in the comments below. Subscribe to this channel for more content like this. We've got some new cool stuff coming out soon, so keep your eye out. See you guys in the next one. Peace.